There have been times when I got 0 sales and I'm like, I show up tomorrow and do it again. It is a grind. It is not for the weak-hearted.
And then what are the drawbacks from doing a nightly webinar or daily webinar?
I think the main, so one thing is like, it takes a little bit of cojones, a little bit of guts to do it, because what happens is instead of spending a week's worth, like let's say you're spending $100 a day on your ads to get to your webinar on Thursday, okay? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're all spending $100 a day, $500. Now, the way that nightly webinar works is because it's just a math equation, right? Business is just math. If I'm getting, let's say $10 per lead at $100 per day, that's 10 leads per day. So instead of spending $100 a day for 5 days, I have to now condense the ad spend down to 1 day. And as long as the lead cost stays constant, then the math works out exactly the same. So the first downside is that there's higher risk involved if you don't have a proven webinar, which is why I recommend that you start with a periodic webinar first. And once you have one that you know converts at a consistent level.
What's the interval? Is it like once a month, once a week, in the periodic before you do daily?
I say once a week is enough.
Okay,
because that's enough time for you to tweak it in between. Because if you're doing it nightly, there's not a whole lot of time, especially if you're running a business, like now you're doing onboardings, now you're doing this, now you're doing that. So I like weekly for sure. I think if you commit to doing it weekly for a period of time, if you say, even if I don't get any sales, like there have been times when I got 0 sales.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I show up tomorrow and do it again, you know? So that's one of the disadvantages. So start weekly until you have one that you know what the inputs and outputs are. I did like 10 weekly webinars before I ever moved to nightly. And I knew what my percentages were. I knew it became it wasn't even a guess anymore that I was going to get clients. I was gonna have 25% of people show up. I was gonna have a 10 to 50% close rate. You know, other people that bought, I was gonna have an X amount of upsell. So that was one disadvantage. The other disadvantage is that it is a grind.
Yeah.
It is not for the weak-hearted. And everyone's always asking me like, is it automated? Is it automated? No. The reason why is because live is always going to outperform an automated webinar.